Chris Long here on the Rich Eisen Show. Super Bowl 58 comes down to what, do you think?
I think it comes down to Spags against Shanahan. I mean, I don't want to be cliche here. I think Andy Reid's got the advantage over Steve Wilkes. I think they're going to be able to run the football. I think the quarterback position, you've got the advantage over Purdy. I think the offensive line, especially for San Francisco, being able to hold up in protection. Obviously, getting to Mahomes with 4 is a key. I think they'll be up to that task. I don't think it's going to be like the Tampa Bay Super Bowl where they had guys down. And like we said before the game, like this is a bad deal for Kansas City. I think it's Kansas City, and I think Kansas City is going to be able to run the football. But I do think the Spags and Shanahan chess match is going to be huge. And if Shanahan can find a way to win that chess match, then they've got a chance to stay in this game. But I think it's going to be very interesting because Kansas City has the backers that can match up in the middle of the field. They have the cover guys outside. We've said all year, I thought they had the best defense in the league. People scoffed at you at different points in the year because we got out over our skis on some defenses. But when you've got a coordinator like this and you have a dynamic interior rusher and you've got shut down, locked down guys outside, versatile guys that can play inside out, great linebackers. Willie Gay is going to be healthy. I feel like it comes down to that. It's Spags winning that battle against Kyle Shanahan. Not to say Kyle's not going to have a good day and he's going to get his plays, but I think it comes down to that matchup.
So then who are the weapons that Shanahan can exploit somehow against that defense? Let's drill down a little deeper here. What do you think?
I would try to get matchups, a Kittle matchup that might be advantageous here or there would be great. I mean, I still think he's a crazy mismatch. If you can get Debo in motion, try to dictate some of your matchups. I also think if you run the ball with authority, which is something they've been able to do at different turns this year. I mean, that's what their whole deal is built off that run game. So if you're Kansas City, can you play the edge the way you played the edge against Miami, for instance? Because I thought their game plan against Miami in both games was, hey, we're going to be aggressive and take away perimeter run game. And then we're going to disguise late on third down and in passing situations, try to confuse Brock Purdy and that sort of thing. It worked against Tua. It worked stopping the edge run game against Miami. That's the key. If they can stop the edge run game. So if you look at certain matchups, I look at these edge guys like Karlaftis and them without Omenahu, who was a force for them towards ACL. Those edge guys have got to play big. And I think the corners got to play big and aggressive. If those guys can play big in the flat, make these guys run the ball into the teeth of the defense a little bit more. And maybe that's what San Francisco says they want to do. Is we're just going to jam it up the middle. I think it comes down to matchups in the passing game. San Francisco dictating those matchups if they can with pre-snap motion, that sort of stuff. And then it comes to the edge run game. Because if they take that away, it's going to be hard for San Francisco and the disguises.
Well, I mean, obviously personnel's different, but isn't the Miami run scheme as similar to San Francisco's? I mean, McDaniel basically helped scheme it up for Shanahan before taking off to become his own HC in Miami, right, Chris?
Yeah, I think the run game, I mean, you look at Miami's run game when they're really dynamic and when they're on the ball, they're just fast to the edge. So, I mean, they're so fast to the edge, and they've got backs who are kind of interchangeable. I mean, Mostert's been great, but also A-Chain and those guys. So it kind of reminds you of a mini San Francisco situation. I don't think the quarterback's quite as good, but in Miami. But I think San Francisco, they've got a tight end, which is a big difference over Miami, who's decided to go with Durham Smythe. And I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just think George Kittle is a real plus. So you've got that real plus as a blocker, which makes your edge run game that much more dynamic. So you can compare Miami, the bones of it are the same, where what comes off of the edge run game is the play action and that sort of stuff and that West Coast based stuff. But I think the big difference is George Kittle in the run game. I talked about him as a mismatch in the pass game, depending on who he's up against, but he's a mismatch for a defensive end in the run game. And if he can abuse dudes on the edge then he can be a differentiating factor that Miami didn't have in that matchup.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.